Good morning and welcome to the order of there's my M's Monday morning. Please give the counter. Anyway, it is an absolutely gorgeous day in Sacramento. It's only going to get up to, it's probably not even going to hit 90 in the backyard today, maybe a little higher. But anyway, the big heat wave of last weekend has broken, and it's just gorgeous. And it's just the perfect day to celebrate the International Volkswagen Bus Day. I looked it up, June 2nd. And as you know, we have and love and depend upon Carla. That's what we named our Volkswagen bus. It's a 1984 Volkswagen Vanagon. It's blue. Now, my first real car, was a 1960 Volkswagen bus. And it was also blue. And I moved from Nebraska to California in it. While in Nebraska, it was my band. I had a band called the Panics. And we traveled in my Volkswagen bus. We had all the equipment and a four-man band. We could get everything, drums, amplifiers, everything. And we went all over Nebraska and sometimes into Kansas and Colorado and, well, around. But every weekend we went out in it. I bought it from a neighbor in probably 1964 or 5. And I moved out to California in it. Got it into a new band, of course, the Charlie D and Milo, and we traveled in that. The band Charlie D. Do you mind this digression? The band, Charlie D and Milo, for a while, we all lived, Constance and I and my brother Mark and his wife and the 3 other band members and their assorted girlfriends in and out, lived in a beautiful, very large, spacious house on a 1/4 acre in Santa Ana Heights in the Back Bay area. It had a 40-foot pool. It had an orchard. It had 2 like fish ponds and an aviary. And when we pooled all of our money together, we could afford it. Okay, it was a pretty good deal for a while. But anyway, I'm telling you this because we played at a fancy restaurant in Costa Mesa. It's called Rubens, and we played there 5 nights a week. And this was during the time, probably 1970, 69 and 70. Then we would pack up the band and come home. And every day as we went to work, we'd watch, all get together in Charlie's part of the house, and we'd watch Steve Allen, the Steve Allen Show, and we'd smoke pot. And because that's how we played. We always played stoned. Okay, I don't think we knew how to play when we weren't stoned. And but we'd drive the short distance, just like 3 miles, 4 miles to the club, and I remember driving, uh, all the boys in the band uh, in the back. And because we were stoned, our eyes were all cloudy and everything else. So we put Visine in our eyes so that when we walked in, we weren't, at least our eyes didn't give us away that we were so stoned. And I remember Charlie, as the passenger, would steer. I'd take my hands off the wheel and he would steer, and I would put the Visine in my eye, and we made it a ritual that we did every day. It was just absolutely gorgeous. And I still had the name of my old Nebraska band on the side, the Panics. Said, "On the go-go with the Panics." And it had a cartoon of my Mosrite guitar on the side. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. I loved it. And I would still be driving it today, I guarantee you, if not for the fact that I had a chance to ride home early, because it took a while for us to load up the van and everything afterwards. I could leave right after our last set with this person who would take me home, because it was a beautiful night and I wanted to swim alone in our 40-foot pool. Okay. And so for the first time ever, I let the boys drive my van home, my beautiful Panic bus, and they rolled it and flipped it. They got in a terrible car accident, turned it over and over and over, completely totaled it. Nobody was hurt, thank goodness, but all the instruments were damaged. Luckily, I had my Martin. I had my Martin with me. But anyway, that's my sad story. Years and years and years later, my mother's second husband was selling his 1977 Volkswagen bus. And I bought that, and we drove that around for years. And finally, when it just lemoned out on me, I think it belonged to my mother's second husband's first wife, and I think she cursed it. Okay, it's just, I really do. And we never bothered to name it. But then the mechanic that kept that afloat, the wonderful boys at Mesa West German Auto and Newport Beach, had that one for sale. I bought it for $2,000, and I've been driving that ever since. So, did you hear that, Carla? Constance says she's going to wash it today. Give it a treat. Anyway, I probably took up all of your time. What I wanted to talk about, and what I've advertised here on the title, is when the I-Ching meets the tarot. Okay, and it's most obviously illustrated here on our deck, the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic. Do I have a box I can hold up? Well, there's the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic. In the 16 court cards. Now, I'm sure that the I-Ching and other cards besides the 16 court cards have a way to connect certain I-Ching hexagrams. There's 64 hexagrams in the I-Ching. to them. And if you'll read in the Book of Thoth, Crowley mentions I-Ching assignments to certain trumps even, you know. And but most obviously, and the one that I can wrap my meat brain around, is where they match up with the 16 court cards. Now, this is the Knight of Cups there. And the Knight of Cups, the Knights, or Kings, if you use other decks, the Knight is the fire family member of the court card family. And Cups is naturally water. Now, the hexagram's made up of 6 lines, 2 trigrams, put one right on top of the other. Now, the water trigram is the bottom 3 lines there, okay? That's water. And the fire trigram is the top 3 lines. Now, there'll be arguments about the titles of that, but it's like thunder and stuff like that, okay? There's 8 trigrams. The ones that translated into Hermetic magic terms would be sun, moon, and yoni, phallus, and then fire, water, air, and earth. Okay, those would be the 8 trigrams. So this is comes up to hexagram 54, which is the marrying maiden, which is one of the I-Ching commentaries that use the analogy of the steps, the phases of a courtship procedure. Anyway, that's that would be that. Okay, now in the new book, The Tarot Architect, you knew you weren't going to get away with it. As I toward the end of the book, actually, where I'm just trying to explain all the bells and whistles that you're going to see on your, let's see here if I can, yeah, at the beginning of the court card thing, because I want you to make your own court cards, okay, but you can use those as blanks, okay. I have what I call a Chinese digression, and I'm going to share that with you. It's very short. While all 16 court cards are rich in traditional meanings, they can often be difficult to interpret within the context of an actual tarot reading. About 35 years ago, after years of being frustrated by my incompetence in to easily interpret court cards and readings, I just hated them. Okay, I wanted to just pull them out of the deck what does that mean? Okay, I stumbled upon something quite amazing and helpful, something that gave my tarot skills a little boost from perhaps the oldest surviving oracle on earth, the I-Ching, or the Chinese Book of Changes. I briefly mentioned the I-Ching earlier. Earlier on, I said, see my Chinese digression. Okay. But now I'd like to expand on it just a little bit more. I view the I-Ching as the Chinese Kabbalah, but instead of being based on the mathematical dynamics of 4 and 10, 4 for the Kabbalah's tetragrammaton, Yod He Vav He, and 22 for the Hebrew alphabet. Like the Kabbalah, the I-Ching comes at things from a simpler and more elegant direction by dissecting the mechanics of duality itself. By observing simply that something either is or it isn't, on or off, positive or negative, light or dark, male or female. Furthermore, anything that we can call something is in a constant process of changing into something else. This heads or tails reality is graphically expressed in the I-Ching with a breathtaking elegance as simply being an either unbroken line or a broken line. And that's, as we see, I guess I'll put it away. Just as the Kabbalah venerates the supernal triad as its mysterious foundation, the I-Ching groups these two lines into stacks of three, whose various combinations produce 8 unique trigrams, whose images represent 8 fundamental principles of existence. Their titles in English can be translated sun, moon, male, female, water, fire, water, air, and earth. Obviously, where the cards of the lesser arcana are concerned, we're most interested in the 4 elemental trigrams: fire, water, air, and earth. And that leaves us only 16 of those 64 hexagrams to deal with. But that's plenty. That's 16 pieces of really good information concerning the court cards. To consult the I-Ching, one simply asks a question and randomly generates 2 of the 8 trigrams, which are stacked one on top of the other to form one of 64 hexagrams. The text of the I-Ching is a treasure house of profound and inspired philosophical commentaries, and there are many other complexities that make a full I-Ching reading quite an elaborate and detailed operation. Of course, like in all divinatory systems, it's you who has to do all the work in the interpretation. You have to figure out what the answer is on the inscrutable, sometimes highly inscrutable comments that the oracle gives you. But when you can, it blows your mind. Okay, only 16 of the I-Ching's 64 hexagrams are comprised of the same elemental combinations of fire, of air, water, of earth, fire, fire, etc. The 16 court cards, okay, I found that the traditional commentaries on these 16 hexagrams can offer profound wisdom and delivered with breathtaking wit and fortune cookie brevity. I provided brief divinatory meanings of the 16 tarot-related hexagrams in the appendix. One of these 16 hexagrams appear in the upper left-hand corner of each of the court cards of the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic. And if you're making your own tarot deck using the format, by painting over the format, you might want to leave that hexagram in your card cards too. If you have one of the many fine translations of the I-Ching in your library, or now you can just Google it, your court card readings can be further enhanced. Please remember, if this or any other magical or astrological features on the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic cards do not interest you, you're free to ignore them or paint over them when you begin your work on the deck. Now, just out of curiosity, let's see what that Knight of Cups has to, what its I-Ching hexagram. This is, see, just little brief things in the appendix here. The Knight of, let's see, Knight of Cups. Let's see here, Knight of Cups. 54, the Marian Maiden, Knight of Cups. This, of course, is the I-Ching of Milo's brief interpretation. You'll want to have an I-Ching of your own. The Marian Maiden. Watch your step. You're pretty damn low on this totem pole. You won't be able to force anything. Bite the bullet and keep your eye on the prize. Now, that was a summation. The actual I-Ching comment on the hexagram 54 paints the picture of a time in China where wealthy merchants or nobility had many wives. Okay, they could afford it. They had many wives, and the married maiden paints the picture of a brand new wife coming into an environment where there's previous wives, older wives in the family, and they've already found their place, their role. They're pretty comfortable doing what they do whenever they have to do it. But there's a society already formed, and they hold their position by being pleasant, okay, and holding their position. So when the new wife comes in, they're not crazy jealous or anything else, but they're aware of the fact that she's young and that she's probably going to get more attention, at least in the early stages of her involvement in the family, and that she's going to have to be diplomatic, knowing that kind of for a while she's going to be the apple of his eye, and she doesn't want to rub it in, to the other wives. So that's what I mean by watch your step. You're pretty damn low on this totem pole. So it paints a picture that could be the picture of your position in a company, or your position in an organization, or in a project that you're doing. Whatever that is the metaphor for, that is the helpful message, the oracle of hexagram 54. And if you can't think of anything else in the damn reading, when the Knight of Cups pops up, okay, you can see if that situation fits the issues at hand in that reading. So anyway, that's it. I know I've read that to you before. But anyway, tomorrow will be a parking lot Tuesday. And so we'll see you on the little screen tomorrow. And until then, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will. And hopefully we'll be in Carla tomorrow, and she'll be washed. Bye.